Welcome to the Bloody Mary Show. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of a spirit communication with paranormal tools in a ghost hunt to introduce you to many of our spirits that are here. We have spirits that came with a 200-year-old building, plus spirits that are attached to many of our haunted artifacts that are within. So listen in. Later, part 2 and part 3 are going to go into two of our more controversial spirits, Zach and Addie, and methods to heal them. This is Voodoo Paranormal and Spirit Communication with Bloody Mary in New Orleans.
But anyway, y'all are on time. Some people are late, and of course that's the way it always goes. But why should it be any different in the spirit world than it is the physical world? So we'll have some spirits that don't come in till the end. Some people that come in before we are even expecting them. Microcosm, macrocosm. Goes on here, kind of what goes on there. So the more energy we have, the more energy they can have and share, and they need energy to manifest. So that they were talking about is the spirit worlds, plural. We have many multi-dimensions that coexist all around us. Now, I know there's still a bunch of people we're waiting for, but I'll just do an official introduction. I like to wait till at least 5 minutes after. It's 5:04. But I'll still say hello. So hello personally from me, and also hello from the spirits that are all around. I do believe that we're all kind of one big family. And as in families, some get along, some don't, some want to talk more than others. Again, as above, so below, not so much different on the other side. So 'tis the beginning of the season. As the veil gets thin, the spirits theoretically should be able to communicate easier or to come through. But each spirit has a different way of communicating. Some can possibly just move a little something and cause a disruption or a noise that you hear. Others might actually physically manifest. And those are the opposite ends of the spectrum, you might say. You might hear something, feel something, see something, smell something, all the above or none of the above. The spirits pretty much, are dependent upon you, and you are, believe it or not, kind of dependent upon them, especially your ancestors. So this is the time you may feed them, take care of them, let them know that you're still thinking about them since the veil is thin. As far as what I do what I call Voodoo Paranormal. Because it's a mixture of old school and new school. And hi, I'm Bloody Mary. I'm Bloody Mary. I'm Voodoo Queen in New Orleans tradition. Voodoo Mambo, Asagwe, and Haitian Voodoo tradition. Born and raised in New Orleans, a Roman Catholic. However, since then, I'm also twinned with an old Celtic religion, as well as part of Qigong, which is a Tibetan belief system of which I do healing through, and I'm a night priest in that. I'm a Mamaisi of the river, and the river is the true spirit that is New Orleans, and we call upon her as Mamanyu, a form of Mammy water in the idea, you might say, of a mermaid. So all of those spirits we salute. Now, I am a Voodoo queen in the tradition of a Marie Laveau. Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau, 19th century Voodoo priestess spirit, is still overlooking all of New Orleans. Over here is a shrine or an altar to Marie Laveau, and we have that behind us always to salute her. Now, spirits love spirits, so I will be giving them a little rum. I will be giving them some food later. We'll be giving them different things to help them come through. We might burn a particular incense. We might, maybe not tonight, but one of the nights on this, you might sing a particular song or play some music. So all of these things are different ways that may, you might say, entice the spirit through. Things that they liked in life. In modern paranormal investigations are called trigger elements, trigger items. I just think they're, gestures of socialization and being nice, because I believe in being nice. I like to have a cordial bedside manner. After all, take the scientific experiment out of paranormal investigation and turn it back into a socialization. That would be the voodoo part. That would be the old school part. You are trying to communicate with your loved ones, your friends, your family, your peers, maybe even your enemies, who knows? There are many different people around there in this world. So we do want to invite them in, and that would be like your hello, and we want to close the gates at the end, and that's like your goodbye if you're looking at the Ouija keyboard, thing. Hello, goodbye. So you open gates and you close gates. And being that I'm a voodoo priestess, we would use Papa Laba. Papa Legba, Papa Laba is the guardian of the crossroads. And I see something trying to come through over there. The guardian of the crossroads between this world and the next. So, Papa Laba has a veve. Simple veve could be an X like a crossroads, but really there's a more intricate scrolly veve that we use. And I'm going to just kind of open the way right here with all of you. I am drawing an egg chalk on my tablecloth below me, a simple gesture of a veve, and open the gates, Papa, open the way. I'm putting a couple of drops of water for him to come through. Open the gates, open the way, remove the obstacles for us today. I call upon all the spirits of all the directions, northeast, south, and west, and as above and so below. I call upon my spirit guides, Batets, guardian angels, ancestors, and spirits of place of New Orleans, and spirits of the building we're in as well. I call upon all these spirits. For me, Bloody Mary. For me, Le Crocro, Marie Laveau, Regina Asset, names I've known in the past, names I've known in the now. Bloody Mary, Mary Milan, and many more. I call upon all of you that are here for our highest good to open the way in clear communication, remove prejudice from our past so that we may see and hear clearly in order to act appropriately with the spirits on the other side. Open the way. We ask you to come through today, and a special salute to Marie Laveau, my spirit guide and Metet in New Orleans Voodoo. We open the way, and I have some rum for you today. Many of you who have met me before know that we have a thing in Voodoo that we spray the rum. Not COVID friendly, but no one else is around here. We would always do that because it's a mixture of our breath. It's a mixture of, all the spirits that are here and all the people in the flesh that are supposed to be at this ghost hunt, may they come in as well today. We would like you to be able to connect with each other, to the spirits that are here. We're connecting to different cities and different places around the country as we call the spirits in today. So they may see, hear, feel, touch, smell, taste, all of the senses that are used in the spirit world. We're going to use old ways and new ways in order to connect. We're going to tell you stories so they hear their stories told. So the energy will release to them and their mysteries will unfold. We call upon all them the power of the ancestors to come our way. Open the gates further, open the way. Legba. Name of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, the Marasa, the mysteries, and l'amour. We open the gates of Papa Laba, the guardian of the crossroads. We open and we close at the beginning of everything that we do to set a structure. I'm one that believes that a lot of the gates are already open, that we walk in and out of portals everywhere we go. But to set a structure of your own within these ever-moving portals throughout the world, lets you have a little bit more control of what's going on. And it states our intentions to the spirit world, which is considerate. So you tell them what you're doing. You ask for their participation. So we give them offerings, or sometimes use what paranormal investigators usually refer to as trigger items. I say offerings or gifts, whether that's food, whether that's music, whether that's actual gifts that sometimes I give, toys for the children and sunglasses or favorite things of the spirits that I know that have passed on. Sometimes they'll tell me or show me some of their favorite things and they get those. Sometimes they don't. So we open the gates and we close the way and we do various things in the center to hopefully bring communication in. I'm here with my techie paranormal investigator / voodoo priest assistant, Michael Bill. He will be coming in shortly, and he's setting up some different items upstairs for us to do ITC communication with. So we'll have some ghost boxes up there. We have a geo box. A geo box is something that we used in this building in paranormal investigation during a show called Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Groff, who used to be from Ghost Adventures. We did that right about almost exactly, was it 4 years ago. Well, I got this place 4 years ago in October, and 4 years ago in October, and today, is the anniversary of an incident which I believe caused the blood print upon this building. 200 years of life and death are embedded in the 1828 building that we're inside of now. All sorts of spirits, colonial spirits, modern spirits, and everything in between. I believe you don't have to live or die. You don't have to die in a place to haunt there. You know, you don't even have to have lived in a place, really. There's an old Celtic saying that says you can retrace your steps of life and death. Everything you do in this world is like leaving a trail of astral breadcrumbs. More energy, the more emotion, the bigger the pile, the easier it is to go when the flesh is gone. However, when something dramatic happens in a place, it leaves a blood print. And though you don't have to have actual blood in order for the blood print to exist, in this case, there is and was a lot of blood. So we will get to that story in a minute. The two most active times for spirits generally are anniversaries and renovation. 4 years ago when I came here, there was a renovation going on from a small fire that occurred in the front window, which took a portion of the roof and then required full rewiring and some other fireproof techniques of double sheetrock ceilings and things that took forever. Was quite a chaos time for the spirits as well as for me in City Hall. So we had to get all of this work done, which we did. But this is disruptive to the spirits. They like the old floor plan. They don't like when we're messing it up. It kind of ruins their connection. However, it was not only renovation time, which is, again, the most active time usually for spirit activity, but it was the anniversary of an incident of a modern spirit story that is attached to this building of Zach and Addie. This is the day of the anniversary of a death date. We will be trying to give offerings and to calm and appease the spirit and that particular incident that happened here when we go upstairs. And Zach and Addie are probably the newest known ghosts in New Orleans. And it's a story about Katrina and a story about love gone wrong. We'll go into that story in detail later. I just want to acknowledge those two spirits now, as well as all of the spirits of house. We have at least 13 that we know by name, and many others that we don't know their name, but that come and go, especially the children. The children who come back and forth from the items that I have from Mother Cabrini's old orphanage. I have her poor box, as well as a few headstone, a cornerstone from a second orphanage, her picture, and a bunch of toys for the children's spirits, which are up there. And I have an old historic wheelchair from the charity hospital who had a whole orphanage floor, and many children's spirits come with that too. They have many toys and many gifts, and they run amok. And we have another little child spirit right below this table that I'm on. Michael, come on out. You're invited by name. Abe and Annabella, the children that mainly stay upstairs, will go upstairs and meet them too later on. And then we have other spirits that lived and died and play in this building. We have 2 ghost cats as well as a ghost horse. And the horse we usually hear. The cats we see and hear, but mainly see, running around, running amok. So we have humans as well as children as well as adults. And we have 2 ladies from the 19th century. We have Rose, mid-19th century, fair-skinned, turban on her head, sing-songy kind of energy that's here. And we have Agatha, a darker woman towards the end of the 19th century, very stern, but still motherly in her own way, just a different way. She's a no-nonsense type of woman. You do not mess with her. Both of them are protective of the spirits that are here, and both of them we acknowledge and we give cheers to as well. Then, there's all sorts of spirits that come with the haunted objects. The concept of haunted objects or collection is that the residual energy of the person or place that they came from can come back through like a bridge through these items or a vehicle to get through the dimensions. I built this place as a sanctuary for the spirits so they could come and go if they needed a place to stay, that this would be here. Also to keep their stories alive, to keep the customs of New Orleans and all that alive as well as voodoo, being that I'm a voodoo priestess. And there's a lot of voodoo in New Orleans, but not all of it's New Orleans voodoo. Since it's known as such a mystical hotspot, people come here trying to tap in. As long as they acknowledge the earlier spirit energy that was here, everybody gets along fine. Otherwise, it can be sometimes rather chaotic. But there's a lot of spirit activity in New Orleans. We were known as America's most haunted city long before paranormal was as popular as it is today. So we have Voodoo Paranormal is my method of connection. That's old school and new school. So I open the gates, and I'll open them again for anyone that was late that comes our way. We open the gates to the spirit world, and sometimes we call spirits as well. We might give them, in this case, I might try to give them some herbs, which could act like a spell. As we're calling the spirits near, we would like to give them something that assists them. We give them water, of which they can travel through. We give them food, which will energize them. And we will give them the air element through some incense. And in this case, we're going to use some mugwort because we're calling the spirits. We would not use sage, people. Even though sage is not for exorcism, it is to try to cleanse away and purify, to kind of block an area for spirit activity. So you would want to use something like sweetgrass to call them in if you're using a more Native American Indian base, or a more European base would probably be the mugwort. You can use a lot of other elements, so it would be the smoke and the spirit within the mugwort. Sometimes I mix the mugwort with other things in order to call the spirits as well. The spirits that can travel on the air, that smell the mugwort, and the spirit that is there can open the way and bring the spirits in today. I call on the gatekeeper. I call on Marie Laveau. I call upon the spirits of place. I call upon all of them and to all the directions. And we're opening the way. We want to use the smoke. So, as I mentioned, we open the gates, we close the gates, we might provide some music. If not this particular one, then the next time that we are doing it, we'll call on the spirits with music. And we use the beat of a rattle. Call upon the spirits to open the way to come in today. We call upon the spirits of house, the spirits of place. Let me turn the lights down to help the way. Try to light the candle again. It went out. There we go. The light, set the light, the speed of light will help them find their way. Here we are at the Haunted Museum in New Orleans at 828 North Rampart, 826 North Rampart, 7011690. 9030 longitude and latitude to help you find the way if you are wherever you are, the spirits of the people that are here today. We also ask all the spirits of place to come out to say hello. Today is the anniversary of an incident here of which we know. At 5:30, we're going to go in a little deeper, and we're going to have the assistant come and tell you about some of the items. Many of you know the K2 meter. This would let you know when the electromagnetic energy of an area is changing. You don't push any buttons, you don't do anything except go around an object or an area that you think is is increasing with spirit activity. Some people use it as a way to call the spirits. Oh, if there's a spirit here, would you light up more lights? This is not an object that I use that often, but I use it every night. Let the people use it every night on ghost hunts and tours. It's a simple object, and it's, I suppose, popular because it's talked about the most. Now, I personally believe that you are your best paranormal instrument, but some people prefer to have something. Now, this one's going a little crazy right now. There is nothing around it to go crazy. There's no electrical things right here, anything that wasn't here a minute ago. So I'm going to put the K2 meter over here, and if I see it go off, we'll know we're not alone. This is a static electric energy meter. It'll have two different sides. One is red and one is green. It is more about what lights up first. If this one lights up first and then this one, that means the spirit is traveling in that direction. I could follow it or go the other way. If this one first and there, it's going this way. So if this one is functioning, we'll put this over here. Now, these are handheld devices that we use. The communication methods are usually done through EVP, channeling, automatic writing, or a lot of different ghost boxes. We have a large ghost box, as I mentioned earlier, the Geo box upstairs. We have some small handheld ones, which are good for the go. So if you're on the go, like you were talking about, Lori, like going to a graveyard or something and wanted to carry just a simple form of communication, this would be a small size. To use the meters outside when things are changing constantly isn't something that I recommend, especially here with humidity and other factors that are traveling in. But the radio device, if you so want to use it, this is a small, easy to use one. I have some very big, delicate ones which aren't as easy travel. I bring a small rattle wherever I go. This is a little, instead of the bigger ones that I showed you before, for some sound. We can also use grid patterns. This lets you know if something is disrupting the pattern on the wall that you can't necessarily see with your eyes, shadow figures and other things like that. You can just set that up if you want, and I'll kind of use the skeleton and the computer as a helper here. There you go. So if we have anything walking behind us, y'all can see from over there. So there's handheld devices that we use quite a lot, and then there's recorders and a variety of things. The idea behind the ghost boxes is that the spirits will speak to us through radio waves. And sometimes it's very hard to understand and distinguish what is said, but whatever we get, hopefully today, you can repeat over and over again when you get the recording of this show. So if you didn't catch it right the first time, you'll be able to catch it the second or third time. Sometimes they get in there and they're nonstop talking. Other times you only get a little bit of a reaction of an intelligent response, and the rest is more gibberish, you know? So that happens too, as it can happen in life, I guess. You would want to get what's called an intelligent response. An intelligent response in the answers that come through the ghost box, or an intelligent response or intelligent movement within orbs or ectoplasm or other types of ethereal substances that the spirit bodies are manifesting. We get a lot of that here, and we do a lot on playback and night vision. So in the other room over here, I have a big screen set up that can watch us in certain rooms. My idea is to put this laptop, leave it down here so it can look at the screen with night vision. And then I carry up and do some of the rest up there with my phone, and then we'll have both visions at the end. I hope. So that is the idea behind it all. And I will probably have to put it on mute down here so that we'll be able to transfer that over. So in the meantime, we have opened the gates. We have set up a few different things. We've told the spirits that we are going to communicate today, especially we're telling that to Zach and Addie. I'm debating whether I should tell their story upstairs where they'll hear, but I think that we can maybe do it down here. This is a modern ghost story. This is a story about Katrina and a story about love gone wrong. You were supposed to leave, and Katrina was forced evacuation, and most people did. Zach and Addie did not. Zach had no place to go. Addie took him in. It was the beginning of a more serious love affair, and it was really wrong time to start a love affair. Nothing was good here at that point. And it got worse instead of better. A year later, the thrill was gone. We were still under martial law. We were still under curfew. The crime rate was higher than ever been before in history and ever since. This was not a good time. They were giving out antidepressants on the corner like candy, and nobody stopped drinking. Recreational drugs were plentiful, inferior, and cheap. This is when Zach and Addie got kicked out of their apartment a few blocks away and moved upstairs where we were about to go to a small apartment on top of then what was known as the Voodoo Spiritual Temple. Trouble followed. She went to the landlord immediately trying to get Zachary off the lease because he was cheating on her. And the landlord told her he did not deal with the personal problems of his tenants, that they had to work it out on its own, and he never heard back. He heard back from the police. So they just scraped one of his tenants off of the top of the Royal Omni Hotel who had jumped to his death and committed suicide. Zachary Bowen had a note in his pocket which led him back right here. It said, "I had to take a life of the one that I took. You send a patrol car here to H26 North Rampart, you will find the corpse of my girlfriend, Addie, cooking in the oven, chilling in the fridge." She had been left on slow cook for nearly 13 days, and there was indeed a blood print left here. He said it was quick. They had a fight. He strangled her 5 foot. He was 6'5", and she was 5'6". Is that right? 6'5". Yeah. 6'7", and she was 5'6". It was snap. He said that was quick, but nothing after that was quick. He continued to drink through the night. He continued to do drugs. He passed out in a drunken stupor and then just got up and went to work. Came home, dragged her body into the bathroom, to the bathtub. Took out a pocket knife and a handsaw and slowly but surely chopped her up. He didn't eat her. But he's been called the Katrina Cannibal to make the story more dramatic. It does not need to be more dramatic than it already is. But he did not eat her. There was an autopsy which proved that no human remains were in his stomach. But he went mad while he was up there for the nearly 2 weeks, says she slow cooked in the oven. Wrote diary page after diary page that he left all over the room. He spray painted on the walls, "Look in the oven," but on the oven it said, "Don't look." On top of the bathtub it said, "Sorry, I couldn't finish," but on another wall of the living room it said, "I loved her." Another one with the phone number of his wife. This is embedded in there as his spirit was embedded in the wall where I saw him stretched out, and all I could really see was the eyes darting from side to side. His arm comes out and holds the door closed to the kitchen at times, locking people in. And he is also seen in the kitchen, staring out the window, sitting on a chair, grabbing and groping at people, piggybacking them. They feel him, they hear him, they see him, and also her. She is close to the refrigerator and the oven. She tells her story and sometimes cries as she jumps in to let her story be told and felt. Some feel nauseous. Some feel giddy and happy. You see, they tried to say that it was her fault, and that was wrong. It was very wrong. Do not ever blame the victim. Not only is it poor taste, it actually stunted the growth of Addie Hall. She would have been still stuck in the death bug when I got here on the 10-year anniversary of this incident, some 14 years ago. She was still stuck in the death boat, not even believing that this had happened. It wasn't until her side of the story came out that her spirit was released and able to grow. And I believe that you can grow after death as a spirit, especially if you have some shamanic help, which she does. She definitely grows. She's a full functioning spirit now, and she wants you to know that she was a poet and a dancer, and more than just this. She also wants you to know for a moment they really did have true love. They said that she should have known better than to make him mad because he was a veteran. That's why they blamed her. Zachary did not use that as an excuse. He ended his life for whatever. It wasn't the only choice he could have made, but it was one that he made. He didn't need to make that choice. But murder, suicide is definitely much. There will be orbs that come out of him because sometimes, see that? Yeah. The spirits want to feel a kiss and they just got one. Yay, Zach and Addie. There is this energy, and the anniversary usually brings some interesting surprises. And he has grown a little bit, but he's got a lot more karma to deal with. I believe that every spirit has a way that they can grow in their afterlife. By helping others is one way, but you must believe that you can. Believe that you are worthy. And I think that I just have seen the fact that Addie has helped people in readings and other things when they have relationship issues. I try to solicit Zachary to help when we know people are suicidal. And maybe he has, and maybe he hasn't yet. He didn't think he was worthy at the beginning, but he's grown. He's grown a little bit. Um, Sometimes they still fight. Sometimes they kiss. Watch. There will be orbs that come out of him because sometimes, see that? Yeah. The spirits want to feel a kiss and they just got one. Yay, Zach and Addie. He lets the children come up and down. Lets the cat come up and down. Lets Addie come up and down. And he tries to protect, as many of the previous spirit tenants here do, protect from Zachary. Just because Zachary killed Addie does not mean he wants to hurt anyone else again. He is just trying to survive as a spirit. So that is our story of Zach and Addie. They're considered the last two Katrina victims, the two newest known spirits in New Orleans. And they come and go here. They were both bartenders, and there were sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and much more information on this couple, on this story. But this is the anniversary of the event, October 5th. So we're wondering if something more specific might be found out here about the case and about their needs as a spirit. So we're gonna transfer this to going upstairs as soon as Michael Bill comes down here. So we're gonna introduce you to him, and then we are going to try to move this to do some EVPs and ITC spirit communication through the ghost box and other means. If any of you got a pen and paper and want to jot down any visuals, any emotions, any words that you get. We do believe that all of us are, intuitive, and different ones of us will get a different side of the picture to share in telling the story. When people are here, they feel. There was one woman that came in and she didn't consider herself intuitive at all. It was a private night, and I told her just to sit still as she had just exited the kitchen. And I said, well, what did you feel? She said, oh, she goes, I felt a fight. She goes, anger and a fight. And then I felt like nothing. She goes, and then my legs got really, really hot. My head was boiling hot, but my torso was freezing cold. She went through the entire thing from the fight to, I guess, the dismemberment, all the way to the refrigerator and the oven. Feeling all that story in 10 seconds of what it took me many minutes to convey to you. There was a darkness in New Orleans after Katrina. All I did for 3 years was banishings and exorcisms on people, places, and things. Our good ghosts left. An easy way of explaining that is they evacuated the families. It took a long time for people to come back. It took a long time for the spirits. And I'm talking about the ones that built this town, that had a vested interest in making sure it was saved. Who had family and loved ones here. They were gone, so there were no checks and balances between the dark side and the light. And even the dark side craves the balance. We were out of kilter. It took at least 3 years and a hell of a lot of rituals to get it back. That was my job for quite some time. We had something here called the hate, collective energy. It was primordial and hungry. And it was fed on the fears of the people at the time. Fear is a 4-letter word. You should not let fear take hold of you. There's too much fear in the world right now as we speak, which is destroying us and letting some of the darkness come in. Do not let the darkness in. Be strong and be who you are, and be aware, but do not be afraid. Spirits that are here to the spirits that are near, come forward. Here comes Mr. Michael Bill. Sit there. Okay. I'm going to turn this to you. Where are you?
I'm right here. Hello.
Can we see you?
Yeah, I'm right there.
I don't see you here. See if that helps. There we go.
Yeah.
I will take this off of you if that helps. Does it help or not help?
Yeah.
Where's your face? Stick your head there. There you go. There's Mr. Michael Bill, Ghost Hunter, and Voodoo. God. We're told upstairs and do some ghost box. If you want to talk about a few minutes of ITC communication and your theories on that, and then we'll go.
ITC communication, or instrumental trans communications, using radios, pretty much any kind of electrical thing, TVs, they've used faxes before. We don't know exactly how they do it or why they do it, but it seems we get intelligent responses on pretty regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're looking for. And we're going to use the Geo box, but we're going to run an app through it that runs the entire band of the internet radio stations in about 52 seconds. And it has a little bit of an echo to stretch the voices out, but what we're looking for are just those intelligent responses. And so the geobox has quartz crystals in its antenna, which just amplifies the energy. So we try to draw them in and see if they'll speak to us. We've used several different boxes. You know, the SV box.
I showed him the.
You never know what's going on here. It's upstairs. But there's lots and lots of ghosts here, too. And then there's Michael. We'll be talking to the ghost under the table.
Good. And I use all kinds of different stuff. I mean, always record. Remember, you want evidence. It's no good if you don't record. You have to record every single thing. Because if I say, Mary, this says your name, but like, prove it, you know. So I think that we'll go upstairs here soon, and then
Yes, I'm going to try to switch this in there so they can watch the play 2 screens at the same time.
okay.
Now, a lot of times we will use the ghost box, and if any of you have my app, we have, which is just Bloody Mary Tour. When you search on your app store, there's a lot of evidence in there, some EVPs that were very clear, class 1, class 2, of different spirits that are in here. This is not a class 1 device. It is designed to, however, pick up voices from very, very far away. And it's super sensitive. So we can't have our voice recorded on it. We can only have an alleged response recorded on it. So we're just going to ask them all to say hello on this device before we go up on our other devices. And it's called a re-VP. And
what I like about that, Miss Mary,
it's immediate.
It's immediate. You don't have to, if you record for an hour, you got to listen for an hour. So it's immediate.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
Not working?
Right. It's not immediate because the batteries aren't working. So in that case, it's not immediate.
Okay.
It was working fine the other day. I don't know why it was. But anyway, we have other boxes when we're up there as well. But let's see if he could just do some wiggling. Because it was working the other day. Fine. Oh, now it's working. So put the top back on. Technical difficulties. By the way, always ask permission when you go into a place, give the offerings like I mentioned, because they will eat the battery life or mess with your electronics. I don't believe it's out of malice. I believe that it's just the closest source of energy that's there. Generally, by giving themselves something first, like the food, the rum, and the other things, they can use that as energy instead of draining the batteries or messing with the other things. But, it depends on what they're in the mood for, whether it's
totally not working now.
Now it's not working again. Please work. Please work. Be nice. Be nice. Sometimes you can ask them nice and they fix it, but sometimes they don't. So we're going to go upstairs.
Okay, let's do it.
It's working real quick. Okay. So we're going to be very quiet. Michael, Bill, and Bloody Mary, say hello to all the spirits that are there. Can you say hello back? You didn't do that right. Okay. Say hello. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it's not working.
Well, we got it to light up, but it doesn't want to work. And that is the simple truth of paranormal investigation. We're switching.
You never know what's going on here. It's upstairs. But there's lots and lots of ghosts here, too. And then there's Michael. We'll be talking to the ghost under the table. That's the screen up there.
So whenever I go up here and I'm doing a ghost hunt, I also have to say my name because we're in someone else's house. So I like to tell them, hello, hello guys. You're decent. You let me in. Hello, it's me, Michael Bill. Any spirits here? Hello. There's the Geo box. Here goes Bloody Mary and the spirit shot in your head again. So this is the apartment.
All right, the idea is that we are Jimmy.
Okay.
We're gonna have not. There we go. There is the table close up. Too dark. Turn off the fan. Didn't turn off the fan quick enough. The night vision, if you look at the screen below, you can make that bigger. And you can see us in night vision up here. To all the spirits that are here, to Zach and Addie, we open the way. People have given us champagne and toast to the ghosts. To all that are here, spill a tiny bit on the floor. Put this down by the food. Bon appetit. Okay, we have our table set, a darkened room. And you can pull your chair over there. Do we have to be closer to it?
I can just turn it on here.
Where is the actual voice coming from?
Over there.
I might need to get this a little closer for your spirits. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as this. But we want them to know that they're still part of the family and that they can enjoy some of the things they enjoyed in life. I remember some of you in my voodoo classes were talking about voodoo trance, dance, possession, where the spirits come in and dance with you. And for that time period, they get to taste the liquor and feel the food and feel the flesh again one time, and then they leave. So we're not exactly asking them to come directly in us now, but as a medium, we're not afraid of that either. Both of us are well trained on how to remove spirits from people and to help bring them in if they're trying to connect more with spirits. However, at this moment, we're doing more electronic, and we're saying hello to the spirits. Is the Georgette, which is my name, Geo Box. Georgette.
Oh, pretty lovely. It's certainly different. Oh, wow.
Well, I heard a hello right away, and it's certainly different. Yes, it is. We have food here for you. Georgette, how are you? Can you speak to us? To all the spirits that are here, can we have a spirit guide? Can we have? We would like to have one voice, that is the controller, you might say. Who is the spirit guide? I'm going to take a small amount of that champagne on my finger, and I'm going to make an X on the box, and therefore give Georgette some liquor. Come on, all the spirits that are here, a special honor tonight to Addie. Addie, are you okay?
Very good. Just why you
I heard the word amber very specifically. Can we kind of have a technician assist?
Oh, yeah, no way.
Okay, here. Can we have one at a time speak clearly? I was just about to ask that question. Our tendency usually say to say a dirty word. Say a dirty word. Can you say a curse word?
Why?
That way we know it's not radio.
It was.
Is there a little too much echo?
You think so?
Yeah, it. Right after.
Learn. We're trying to learn from you. What do you have to teach us? No way. You want some jambalaya? Addie, are you here? Very mindful.
We get it, sir.
I have fried chicken and jambalaya here. Let me open the kitchen door to invite Mom in. Come on.
No.
And I also brought the Jägermeister. Hello.
And
Here's your sunglasses, Addie. There you go. Listen up. Hi. I'm listening. Is there anything you need me to bring you? More music? As well as voices coming through the ghost box. Can we get any predictions? Is this new and very unlikely Hurricane Delta going to hit New Orleans? What do you think about the current hurricane scare? Hoax? Yeah, I believe that. What have you got to say about COVID? Does the president really have COVID?
We'll send you an
What did it say?
We'll send your letter.
I didn't hear you.
We'll send your letter.
So Zach, are you here?
Yes.
Are you calm?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Addie, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? You all want some Jaeger? In a glass. Okay. Picky today. Okay. The answer was in a glass. Okay, this is a glass, shot glass, and here you go. Jägermeister in a glass. There's also some sweets, some cream puffs here to sweeten you up. I'm still hot. Is that what you said? Someone said they were hot. Space. You have Jägermeister in the glass, you have food, you have champagne, you have a pumpkin, you have sunglasses. What else do you need? A question about this case that's on a lot of people's mind. I have my psychic knowledge and opinion. But many are progressing.
You don't?
Is there any negative attachments or demon activity associated with this issue? Yeah, in here. Is there any in here? Which ones? Yeah, I'd like to know.
Is there something you've been dying to tell us?
We're going to raise our hands when we speak so you know that's us. Who's here? I'm married. What's your name? E.T.? Don't know. Do you have any messages for our friends in the listening world? What is it? Are you what? Do you find them active tonight? It seems mediocre to me.
Yeah, I mean, I heard him say, be part of the government.
Do you want to move that to the kitchen?
Can.
Okay, we're going to move the Geno box to the actual oven. The actual oven, which is a haunted item. So you do that. I'm just going to move this a little closer. That is the oven.
Can I fix your antenna there?
Hello, everyone. Is there any other communication that we can get in this room? Here's the Jägermeister.
Miss Addie, you here, girlfriend?
Go along there. All right, let's try. However, it should look.
Hello.
The center. Get it off. Well. All right, wait. Wait a minute.
Would you like to put anything in the bathroom since we have a backup camera in there now?
Yeah. Stick an ostometer.
You still not hard. No how. One. Four.
I'm going to give it some Jaeger. Georgette. We also have the actual refrigerator and actual oven. Addie, do you have something to let us know? I heard her last name, Holmes.
It's Holmes. Holmes of the Ghostbusters.
We pray for your journey, Addie. Let's quickly go into the bathroom. Take the. You don't want to take the gym box?
Here's a get. I'll fit this head.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go to the bathroom. Remember this. I'm gonna get the ghost.
What was that about? Now we have a backup. And edit geoboxes in the bath. This picture was painted by Zachary. This is their bathtub. This bathroom is very haunted. So is the area right outside the door. We have anything here that we could not hear before. Is Adam?
Yeah, Mary, you're breaking up.
The geobox in the actual bathtub. And it seemed that when he did that, things kind of went haywire. Again, as I mentioned before, let me mute this. We got one question, which was from Lori, right? Adam, did you have a question?
I wanted to know about the mirror in the bathroom. I just want to know what it is about that mirror, because that was the thing that I was most drawn to when I was there.
Well, I mean, as you know, mirrors are portals to the other side. They're always fearful, for people, because he thought that if the mirrors weren't covered, that the spirits might get trapped in and out of there before they go through the proper last rites and things. So she was killed in the other part of the house, but her spirit may have actually gone through that mirror and come back through that mirror, because a lot of people are kind of get stuck on that mirror, like they look at it and they're just kind of mesmerized, and they see things when they walk into the bathroom that aren't necessarily there, like blood pouring out of the faucets, and you're feeling that energy come that you shouldn't be in there, like she's watching you from the mirror. So being that it very well may have been the only mirror in the place when this incident occurred. They'd only lived here 3 days when this happened. They hadn't unpacked. They hadn't even moved all their stuff in. There were boxes all over the place. So together, they barely lived here 3 days. He stayed another 10 to 12 or something before he killed himself. But it was still not, it hadn't yet become a real home, let's say. And mirrors are always supposed to, that's why they say it's so bad when the mirror is cracked, because it lets the spirits enter and exit. I've got cracked mirrors all over this place because I want them to come and go however they can come and go at will. And we've done a lot of prayer and smudging and other things to help Addie on her way and to help Zachary on their way and to counsel them, if you will. And sometimes, as I mentioned, we might do it with music, sometimes with food. They've got a lot of food and they always like liquor. Not only is that the social thing, but they were both bartenders, you know. So to give them the things that they liked in life and that they used would be something that we would absolutely still do in their afterlife. And that to me is more of the voodoo part of the voodoo paranormal, giving them, you know, the niceties of life and such. So that is what we still do here. The electronics are gravy. I mean, we can connect through automatic writing as well, which is why I told y'all to try to get a pen and paper if you wanted to sketch something that came to your mind. Was there anything that Margaret, a private conversation with the spirits, I told them to come down, share with the class. And of course, that would be the case, right? The second we leave, they start chatting up a storm. And that could be the reason of the interferences that went on with the device that I had, which just went like there was no signal at all when I went into the bathroom, you know, and it was just a foot difference and outside that perimeter. We do have a backup camera in there that I had just moved in there, my nanny cam with sound. So I will dig that out and record that. And when I would have caused electrical surges or problems. But he still had the other things working with his cell phone and the app. So not all signal was necessarily gone, but it certainly was gone to my camera. And that happens a lot. Big TV shows with huge cameras, and I have 5 or 6 cameras going on that I do. I tell them to pay attention to the spirits and to be respectful when they ignore me, and all of their stuff would go on at the same time until I tapped and it came back. A male voice in the background and a couple other voices that would come in. Some, you know, Michael Bill's voice. He's got a pretty intense accent.
I heard a man speak a lot.
There was a man speaking a lot and he had no accent. Right. I have all of this recorded. But there was definitely a man's voice in the background that was coming through quite clearly, and more than one. Several men's voices that were coming in. They were not the same voice. Tired. So we had my small box up there. Do you not want that one? And I'm going to put on my ovulus here. To any of the spirits that were here, we're saying hello. Do you have something to say to us and all the people out there? Can you give us a word? So this is a 2-part device. The ovulus one has a Stephen Hawkins type of voice, which drives me crazy. It's hard to translate, but a later edition was this translator. By the time ovulus 5 was around, it already has the words that just come out. But this one has been through 10, 15 years of ghost hunt. So I like to feel it's kind of been trained, you know? So it's been through a lot. So we want to hear the words. Do you have something to say to us? If any of the spirits here would like to talk through this device, which they just did, and the word is holiday. Well, the holiday that's coming up is Halloween, and that should be your holiday. Do you like Halloween? Will we have a good Halloween here this year? Do you have something to say? So this was the word that you could read here. It says, I don't know if you can read it, but it says holiday. And anything else you have to say, I'm just going to put that here. I don't know if it'll stay up here. Probably not, but I'll try. To anything you have to say, please say into the ovulus. So did any of you see any, I'm going to turn off the light so that if there's something to see, maybe you can see it better. Here we go. To the spirits that are here, do you have something to say? Speak to us through the ovulus. There's also apps on your phone. An oldie but a goodie to me is Ghost Radar. It still does. If I have ovulus next to the Ghost Radar, I'll usually get some of the same words, but like using your thesaurus, you know, it has the same meaning. Was it up there? Mm-hmm. All right. So Michael Bill is going to play with this different ghost box now. Watch out the wires there. But I can't see us anyway. All right. So it doesn't matter.
So this one is SP. It's a little bit noisy, and we'll record While you did the ghost box, they were recording.
This says observe. That's the word. So yes, we should be observing what's going on. This one is not being very talkative after the holiday. This one uses white noise, which makes me crazy, but pay attention. Technicians assist. Technicians assist. Spirit guides come. I'm gonna give it some room. One for him and one for them. There you go. Right there. Right there. I haven't got any word past holiday.
Never know.
Can you say hello? One at a time. I heard the whistling again. I heard the word is. Help.
Help. What's your name? Right, sir.
I'm going to call on the spirit of Julia Brown. Voodoo Queen, Voodoo Priestess, Julia Brown. Voodoo Queen Marie LeBeau, can you help her come around? Ripping apart. Patience, I heard. I don't have patience with white noise, but he works well with white noise. You want to take that and pull it over a little bit because I can't hear myself think with it. My spirits at my house absolutely hate white noise like me. So now we've got the word the Quran. So some spiritual help is wanted. The word right before that was ripping apart. What did you say about arms and feet up there?
When you left, I still had the recorder going, and I asked, "Is there anything I can get you?" And I heard hands and arms, and she had her hands and her arms chopped off. So, and that was in the tub.
He chopped off her hands and her arms piece by piece and put her torso in the refrigerator. And the box was when everything went out up there, the box was in the bathtub. As I said, we have a backup camera and stop with.
And I had the audio recording that I can.
Yeah, the audio recording continued to go as well. That didn't get affected, but the iPhone, which had a lot of power, wasn't that? Definitely was.
But the thing about
agree, according to them, they say they agree. So, different spirits have a different way that they can interfere, but they're an energy body. These things are energy bodies. And we as humans have put so many more things out there in the which will interfere with their world. The more microwaves, the 5G, all that stuff definitely has a different opinion. Now I had it says sent a visual one night, a tear in it looked like an orb. You would have thought of it as an orb, a tear in the dimensions in my room, and it was opened up, and there was a little portal next to my bed with some men talking, and it literally woke me up. And I was like, ugh. And they were like pissed off, and I said, dude, you woke me up. And they were chattering, which I heard, and they were upset that I heard what they said. And what was said was, we will be riding on the radio waves. So in my opinion, when he said he wasn't sure, how it worked when we tried to do the IT communication, they are riding on the radio waves. Their transmission, the voices, the communication is riding on top of, which is something, the way that they describe things when they look at the waves that come through. Sometimes it's pieces of words that come from different channels, but sometimes it's just riding over it separately or behind it, however you want to look at it. They said riding on the radio waves. When speaking to a dead husband of mine, one who was in life pretty much kind of a non-believer of this type of things, shortly after he died and he came to me, I kind of, had a little comment like, heck, hey, what do you think now? I said, what do you think now that you're dead? And he came back with a very straightforward and, I guess, intellectual response, surprisingly, and said, I'm not dead. I am ion living. Well, but you could also just get yourself in a responsive state, open the gates, breathe, and kind of get out of those beta brainwaves that make you question and compartmentalize and judge everything you do day in and day out, and go alpha or lower, where you're able to receive these frequencies. And other ways to get out of body, because we are spirit trapped in body, not the other way around. So when we kind of get out of our flesh and our head, get out of our head mainly, then we're meeting the spirits on their own level. One of my gifts early on was spirit photography. I got great pictures over the years. I always asked permission. I always gave an offering, but the camera lens captures a broader spectrum of light than we're used to, and it also stops action. And these multidimensional beings, which ghosts are just one dimension of, they're usually at a faster frequency than we're used to registering. But the camera lens doesn't have such prejudices, and they can slow down. What we see as a blur can actually get aligned. So even though the EVP and the electronic voice is what's popular this decade, when I started out, I was getting incredible ghost pictures. And they're not as popular, but they're still my favorite thing to do.
You do get amazing ones.
But you can get, and you see, and it's experience during, you might hear something first. I've literally been tapped on the shoulder, turn around, got a picture. Something's thrown at you from away. And that happens upstairs too. The children's spirits, which we'll go to next week, one of them will toss coins or dimes or little stones at you, not to hurt you, but to get your attention. I have a little container full of different things that spirits have, transported through the dimensions to me. And, so you never know what's going to happen. You just have to keep all of your options open, right? So did you want to try to use another device? What would be your favorite device there to use, Michael Bill?
Yes. No.
How about just an app? Do you have just an app that you use?
Yeah.
What's your favorite app?
I like the ghost hunting tool. It's like an Ovilus, and I've gotten just some really weird responses. Last weekend I had a ghost hunt, and the girl was holding my phone that had the ghost hunting tool on. It's totally free. And she goes, Michael, I don't believe this. And I said, she goes, who's this guy right here? And pointing to me, and my name came up on the word bank. So it's totally free. It looks like this. And you hear that white noise. I shut the white noise off. It's distracting. But the idea is it uses the sensors in your phone, and the EMF will start to raise. As it turns red, they'll reach into the box and pull out a word, and hopefully it'll be responsive. So when we were sitting here earlier, we got lots of weird stuff, rip apart, stuff like that.
I like Ghost Radar. It was one of the first ones ever invented. And it was like a good, 15
years ago
or more years ago. I just got the word was package, but the words before that, while we were turning this on up here, was observe, his religious observe. So it was observe and religious was around. I don't know if you can read that with the brightness, but this is Ghost Radar Connect, which is a couple of bucks, but it gives you the readout and the way to look back on it, which is smart. Instead of just, not
having. This one has a word bank. So
word bank too.
So you can see.
So Michael Bill likes that one, which is great. And you can get those and work, start doing communication with them. And then we had a couple of things that were giving us a hard time tonight, right? The ReVP, which wouldn't let us wouldn't let us use what?
It wouldn't let us ReV.
Yeah, it wasn't that. So his has little bars. Mine also has a radar on it. So both of them have a free version and probably an upgraded version, but you can try on those. Some of those he feeds through different equipment that we have here. I like also crystal balls. I like, again, you know me, I like food. I like liquor. I like to put that
black
out
mirrors.
And be more social. You could use obsidian or a variety of black mirrors in order to connect. I use water because water and mirrors, because I'm Bloody Mary. I got mirrors all around. Ooh, and you know what we used to use? Grab the horn. Now, I have several things here that belong to a dead spiritualist. His name is Walter. He was going to prove about the spirits. He was going to prove that spirit world existed even after he was dead. And this is a spirit horn. This was used in many seances to amplify the voice of spirits. The lighter ones were sometimes used to float through the air, but that was where people start making up, saying that they were faking things in seance. But this could make things larger and louder. So you've done experiments by putting things inside.
Yeah, the EVP machine, we put that inside. This is supposed to enhance the spirit's voices. It's made out of copper. And copper is a great conductor of energy, so it made sense. We got some good EVPs, but they were classed like D. They weren't really that audible. But it was neat to use this because it's been used in so many seances. And
hopefully Walter's energy comes with it, which was the hope.
And we also have this Ouija board up here too.
It was Ouija board, which has a mysterious missing letter O on it that was not missing when the Ouija board was sold to the person who got it, and mysteriously was only after Walter died. So we sometimes acknowledge Walter. I forgot to acknowledge him earlier today. So Walter, come on through.
Yeah, come on.
So the idea of who owned the previous items before. I have a haunted mirror over there that was used in the Octagon House in Washington, D.C. that even the likes of, what's his name, Houdini were at the seances that were performed there. So, and I've had Houdini's crystal ball here and a few other things that belonged to him. Even though he was a skeptic, he still went a lot to different seances because he really, really wanted to believe. Many of us have the problem of needing proof to believe something, but there are many things in the world that exist without proof. We know that microwaves exist, but we don't see them. We know that a lot of things are out there that we don't necessarily see, but everybody wants physical proof. Now, there's tons of evidence. And proof is kind of subjective. I mean, what's going to make you believe is the experience. So that's why, in general, I like to do things here, because you can feel things and grabbing of your shoulder or a cold spot, which the cold spot could definitely come through the airways. It could come through TV shows. I know it has, because it's happened to me and other people around me before. But, it's obviously going to be easier when you're actually on the site. Hello, bring them an offering, tell them you'll be back, tell them it was nice to meet them, open the way and close the way. And you are providing a structure, you're being respectful, you're bringing them an offering, you're letting them know that they're not going to be forgotten, that other people will come back and visit. I find that when you let them know that you will return and they won't be forgotten again, that you won't have as many trouble with hitchhikers, and I know this from very, very personal experience with hundreds of hitchhikers that I had when I first started doing this. Before, I always opened and closed the gates. Before I let them know that I would return, that they would still always be part of my family. And on top of that, they have open invitation to come here, whether I have a little bit of something from a graveyard, a little bit of something from the old orphanage, the old hospital, all the haunted houses that I could find in town. This gives them a place that they can rest or visit if they want. None of them are forced to stay here, but they are all welcome to come as long as they don't hurt anybody, which they don't. But, I have this as an open invitation to the places. And our spirits need our help sometimes, but we need their help as well. I'm going to open it up to some Q&A for a little while. So ask me a question. Let me know. Let me see if I can get the chat up. There we go. Can I move that? Got to be right in the middle. Well, anyway, I've got the chat up in case you can't use your audio, but now is the time to turn on your audio. Ask me a question about spirit concerns, spirit stuff at your house, how to connect, how to get rid of, whatever the case may be. A simple way, by the way, if you're annoyed by dreams or spirits of the night, is a bowl of salt water under your bed. It's the most inexpensive and effective way to pretty much just kind of have a good night's sleep. So there's ways to call spirits to enhance the communication, and there's ways to stop it. So you have to learn to tune your channels. It's easy to turn this part on in us. It's hard to balance and tune in your channels so that you get the right way at the right time, and so that you're the one in control of that knob.
It's like I don't hear very many women.
Maybe that's you, because you want to pull more men in into your life. No, well, that's not true, because we got some great things of the little girl.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a beautiful,
No,
cutest little girl voice you've ever heard, and like a full sentence, not just hi. The lot more, and sometimes that takes a lot of energy to do.
She learned the piano.
We got the piano. I was like, would you like to play the piano? She's like, I'd like that. She was very conversational, and she came through the wheelchair. The haunted wheelchair from the abandoned 1,000,000-square-foot hospital not far away. So we're going to use that on another one of our ghost hunts, and just use that chair. It is becoming, if not already, dusk or almost dark here now. Yeah. It's always that transitional time that's easier for the spirit. So again, for those that didn't hear before, if you would like to open the way, come forward, legba, open the gates, papa. To the spirits of place, the spirits that can hear, the spirits that are near, come through. We'd like to see you, hear you, feel you, photograph you with great respect. If there's any offerings you need me to bring, any songs you want us to sing, anything at all, just open the way and let us know henceforth today. Hello. Come on through.
See right there, it had the divot box in the wheelchair. And I'm rolling it, and they're asking questions. I'm like, well, I'm going to lock it. Maybe you to it, guys. I sit down, bend down, and I lock it, and I walk out. Watch the wheelchair. There's the wheelchair. I'm gone. They're asking questions. And then all of a sudden, the damn thing starts to move by itself. It turns to that lady right there. She's got her head down. And it starts to say her name. Aaron, 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 Aaron. The paranormal investigator right there on my right, he moves back. His wife's freaked out. She's over here. She moves over. She said, get the hell out of there. And this couple right here, they were over it. They came out and said, we're leaving Michaelville. The wheelchair rolled up to us. So the brakes were locked. I locked them myself. You know how I am about paranormal investigation. I will always tell the truth. I don't give a shit. If nothing happens, it's the way it is. If I don't tell the truth, I'm not being an investigator. I'm being a charlatan. So, pretty weird, huh? So I have a ghost hunt tonight for unlucky souls. I'm going to bring them here to the museum, give them the latest and greatest in ghost technology, put them in the dark, and scare the shit out of them. So I have a few more spots if you'd like to be spooked. So it's 828 North Rampart Street, Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum. It's me, Michael Bill, and I will scare
to refine it like that. There are hundreds around us all the time. That's the real static, to try to ease that out, to get one or two conversational voices, which sometimes we've had incredible conversations up there. Do any of you have a particular question about spirit world, about ghost hunting, about voodoo, anything like that that we have?
Well, I've
There you go.
tried using basically one of those. It's set up similar to the that geo box you guys have, but we have a device that is it Paul Huff or Steve Huff?
the portal.
Yeah, the portal. We
portal.
built that. And we've been trying to use it. We use different apps to on the phone to give the
right
the radio waves, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Have you used a regular
Sometimes
spirit
we're
box?
listening.
Have you used a regular spirit box with it? Just a regular radio box?
I've got a just a regular. It's a spirit box radio thing that, like, I've got one of those that.
Like the SB7?
Yeah.
The little black one?
Yeah.
Try it on AM backwards.
Did you hear
it backwards?
AM.
AM backwards is the best response. Like I made a portal as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was Adam. If Adam's up there, Adam said that he wanted to make some of these, and I think there is a schematic online.
There is
for the portal.
Yeah, you want to get you want to get that decimation pedal, that ISP decimation pedal. That's the best one. And you want to get the Hall of Fame. It's a little small reverb, or I use the black one, and it's like has a tribal something. I use that one, and it works just fine. You just need something to stretch those voices out. Make sure you get good cables, though. Cables really count.
Yeah, mine get loose, and then nothing works anymore, and I get frustrated, and I stop using the device. And then I'll get a new cable, work for a little while. I don't know. It's just something about the connections, right? And that's a lot of people.
I think they wear them out. You got to think it's spiritual energy. They're probably overloading these.
It seems like a connectivity thing, though.
Well, they're connecting.
Yeah.
They wear it out.
A physical thing. No, I have noticed when I have a really good session, shoots it out for a long time. So it is difficult, and all those guaranteed light bulbs and things like that, they don't work in haunted houses. The ones that are lifetime guaranteed, and all these other things that you go, I've gone through 100 cameras, literally. They just eat cameras. The least fancy that you have the camera is the better. The more things, the more that could go wrong will go wrong. So simplify it down. Don't have the zoom lens. Oh, that'll stop right away. Don't have other things. Simplify as much as possible. Go show you this collection. It was the very first ghost box that was ever made. So what's interesting about it is the size. It is a giant, giant thing. Now, Frank Sumption, who, let me put this on. So anyway, these are all the very first Frank's boxes. The biggest one here with the giant echo box up there, and these. And this whittled down later to the hack Frank's box, which is here. So Frank Sumption made the first ghost boxes and started the craze on voice communication with the dead. I'm sorry it didn't unmute. I don't know.
Right.
But everybody's got their own way of communicating, and his voice came through, and they called him Eddie. That was like his nickname, Eddie for Edison. and Frank and Eddie were talking.
Thank you
So
for watching the Bloody Mary
all
show.
that is different
And
ways that
reminding you
we
the
try to
ancestors
use
in the
and
spirit world are always
not
with us,
abuse.
and
Damn
that
it.
ghosts are our
In
history.
ghost hunting.
They watch what we do. We talk about what they did, and
And there
together
is
we can
Marie
get
Laveau
things
again.
right.
So
I
to all the
believe that you
spirits that
only
are
have
here,
to
to the spirits that are near,
itself,
we ask you
and
to
that fear is a
continue to
four-letter
communicate
word.
with us.
We will continue
We
to try
stop and say a
to
prayer for
explain to
Addie, for
you
this
in
is the
part 2 and
anniversary
part
of her
3
death,
some
that
of
her
the
spirit may
specifics
grow,
about Zach and Addie
and
and
that she
different
may
ways
be
to
at
heal
peace.
them. Always talk kindly about
She likes
the
crazy
dead.
sunglasses. She likes
Remember,
Jägermeister.
they're
She likes a few
watching.
things that we always bring to her. So we also give her prayer. She also likes to dance. Anyway, we open the gates. We're going to close away.
Thank you for watching the Bloody Mary Show, and reminding you that the ancestors in the spirit world are always with us, and that ghosts are our history. They watch what we do, we talk about what they did, and together we can get things right. I believe that you only have to fear itself, and that fear is a four-letter word. We will continue to try to explain to you in part 2 and part 3 some of the specifics about Zach and Addie and different ways to heal them. Always talk kindly about the dead. Remember, they're watching.